Welcome to All Leaders Must Serve podcast. This is Jane Williams, Executive Director, and I am here again with our special guest, Mike Thompson. How are you doing, Mike?
Great.
Good.
Thank you, Jane.
Good. So Mike did an incredible job for us, helping us to understand what it's like to get ready to go into an interview. And right now, what I would like to do is talk about some common interview questions because, let's face it, you're going to go in. What are they going to ask you? And you have some idea on how to be prepared. But I want you to pretend that somebody is actually asking you these questions. And so we might ask Mike to role play some of that for us. Right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give him 3 questions, and I'm going to ask him out of those 3, which one out of those 3 that he feels are the most important and why. And then I might ask him what his answer might be if he was a young person. Not if he was,
Oh, there, if,
but as a young person. So the first one would be, 1, tell me about yourself, which is often the very first question they're going to ask you. 2, why are you interested in a position with this organization? And 3, what strengths do you feel you bring to this position? Out of those 3, which one do you feel was the most important to prepare for?
I think what strengths you bring to the position, which would require checking out what the position is, obviously.
Yes.
And then if you have any experience in working that related to that position, and then even that doesn't, whether it's honesty or hardworking or for instance, in my field, it would be if I had worked with a particular machine in the past or some particular science that was related to what I was applying for would be important. So that kind of thing. I think, the more you know about the position, the better suited you are to answer.
So you would then highlight that you worked with this particular type of machine that they use in the lab.
Exactly.
And how you used it and how often and maybe a story of something that you discovered and what you really like about it, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
So the next 3 would be 1, describe a weakness of yours. 2, what do you know about us, meaning the organization? And 3, why do you want to work here? Which one would be the most important and why?
Wow.
Do you think they're all pretty equal?
I think they are.
Tell us why. Tell us the first one. We already talked about describing your weakness.
Right.
So, and just because that was a different one, and you may be looking at this one, we talked about when you describe your weakness, you really are being honest with them, but at the same time, you want to also be able to. You want to be humble enough to say, I know that, I may struggle in this area, or I may need more education in this area, or I may need more experience in this area. But what I do feel strong about is that I can compensate for in other ways where I'm very strong. So that is one. But the next one, what are your greatest strengths? Did we just sort of touch on that a little bit?
Yeah, that's easier, especially starting out. You're a hard worker. You're not afraid of jumping in and getting something done. If it's a job science related,
Let me stop you.
Okay, yes.
Let me stop you because I jumped. I don't know. So that whole section after I talk about the weakness and the strengths, that was really good. Right after that, we'll go into, so what do you know about us? This goes back to research.
Right. Oh, so
why would that be important is knowing more about.
Again, it would show your interest in becoming part of the organization. The more you know about it, the more you can reflect that in your answers.
And why do you want to work here?
Right.
Follows it.
So for me, the reason I went for the university was it's the longevity. I wanted to be at the university for my entire career, and that was a big reason why I wanted to start there. So the more you know about, and it's a good environment to work for. They support their employees very well. There's retirement, all those kind of things. If you know that ahead of time, and that you will reflect your interest,
Right.
or the I'm trying to think, the strength of your interest. No,
That's true. Well, I think it's important for a number of reasons, but one of the things that I hear you saying is that you thought ahead of where you want to work, what kind of organization you want to work at.
Definitely.
And a lot of times we just pick a job and then we're trying to answer these questions, but we don't really know why we really picked that place to apply at.
Right.
I just had a young lady call me before I came here today, and she said, "Miss Jane, would you do a reference letter for me?" And I had to remember who she was because I had a lot of young people with her name. And but I did. I remembered who she was, and she said, "Well, I have 3 jobs I'm applying for, but this is the job I really want." And I said, "So why do you really want that one?" And so she went on and on telling me about, and she was really excited. What's really interesting was that particular job has nothing to do with her final outcome where she wants to
right.
be. She wants to work in a hospital, but this was at an animal shelter. And so I thought it was really interesting. But like you said, you have a lot of jobs when you're getting started. And I thought it was interesting, even at this level, she knew she wanted to work at the animal shelter because they were going to be supportive in her going to school full time.
Yep.
They were going to pay her well while she was going to school. They were going to give her benefits while she went to school. And her grandmother worked there, so she already knew that they treated their employees well. So she had done that research and she had thought about where she wanted to be. And I was really impressed with her because, sometimes we just go for any job, but she, her backup was obviously Starbucks was going to be a backup, and then another coffee place was going to be a backup. But she knew where she really wanted to be because where she was going to go to school, she was going to need that flexibility.
Right.
So I think that's great, and that's something I heard from you is you've had all these jobs, but at some point you said, I want to work at a university. I want to work at this university for these reasons.
Exactly.
And that's eventually where you want to go. But see, sometimes you have to take a lot of jobs before you can start plotting that out. So don't feel bad if you're not hired where you want to be hired.
Exactly.
Right off the bat. It's a plan. It's a journey, and take it one step at a time. Let me see. What salary do you expect to earn, or how do you define success, or why should we hire you over some of the other applicants? Now, all 3 of those are really good questions and very different. Do you have a favorite one that you would suggest?
I would stay away from the salary one, but I would go with why should we hire you over somebody else? Because you can sort of talk about your strengths, like you're honest, you're a team player, you support the people you work with, you're interested in, the more you know about the company, the better. In the university job that I had, we had a mission statement, which was to support the animal industry, food industry in the state of California. And you know that going in, you can say, I'm very interested in, the food side of the California economy. Nutrition and the animals, and, the farms and everything. So
food to fork, pork to food, I don't know.
But you know where I'm trying to go.
Yes, I do. And I think it's important because, again, we want to make sure that they understand just how important this is to you. Why should they hire you over some other applicant? Yes, because I'm the best applicant. I hope I'm the best applicant. And if I'm not, I will work really hard to become the best applicant. Use those words. You can steal my words. Those words will work for you. I will be willing to listen and learn and stay late and study, take extra classes, whatever it is that makes me the best applicant. I'm committing to be that person right now. And you know, that's a hard one to turn away from. That's a hard one to turn away from. This other one that they talk about, how do you define success? Now, a lot of people would say by how much they're paid, which is the first one we talked about. What salary do you expect to earn? And salary, when they ask you that question about salary, that is a very sticky one, right?
It is, yeah.
So I would recommend that you would say something to the effect of, I understand that minimum wage is this, so you've done your research, you should know what it is. And I also have done my research, and I understand that your employees tend to begin at this level. I realize I'm starting at an entry level position, and I am so grateful to just be a part of your organization and learn whatever I can learn. That right now the salary is not my biggest concern. Getting my foot in the door and having an opportunity to learn is my biggest concern. I'm telling you, is that a winning answer?
I would totally agree with that, especially with an organization that's large, like the university, or another large conglomerate that has offices all over the country. Yeah.
Because they're used to people having an idea in their head, and when you tell them that your priority is to learn and to be a part of their organization, that means a lot to them. And so that comes back to, how do you define success? So any thoughts on that one?
For me, just doing a good job, and for our where I worked, we were supporting, like I said, the state of California. And if it required us to stay late and work weekends, you did that. And you were proud of that because it was a community effort. It's the job itself sometimes gives you all the reward, depending on how you look at it. So money is good, obviously, but it's not necessarily the driving factor.
I really love that you said that, and it reminds me of two different things, and we'll close with these. But the first one it reminds me of is that we were just doing a class with a couple of young men, and it was talking about not competing with the people in the room, but competing with yourself. And so if this person is doing good and they're making this much money and they seem successful, and that's what you want to do and you want to get, then you're probably going to lose. But if you're competing with yourself and you're saying, I want to be better and I always want to be my best, can I learn from that person? Yes. Can I learn from that person? Yes. But it's about me learning, and it's about me becoming the best I can be. You will arrive and you will find success. Success is not always what's in your pocket, although money does help you.
It does help.
But success has a lot more to do with peace of mind, having good friends that you trust, having a good place to go and lay your head and know that no one's going to bother you, having family, having friends. And sometimes you don't have family, and sometimes you don't have friends, and that's not uncommon in this world. But if you continue to focus on being your best and learning and being that good friend and being that person that you wish somebody would be for you. In ALMS we say, treat people the way you want to be treated. I'm telling you, you will find success. Doors will open, windows will open, people will see you, and you will find that life will take you where you need to go. So I define this success by treating people the way I want to treat them, and really looking for that person who's not seen. Because if I'm too busy worried about being seen, I can't see that other person who needs something that I have. And when I give them something I have, I find value. I find value in who I am that I didn't even realize I had. So that is success for me. And the second thing I was going to say, I actually am not recalling right now because that one was really good. I really like competing with ourselves and not with other people. You know, other people can feel that.
Oh, yeah.
And you will become the leader that serves, the leader that we talk about, and all leaders must serve. Thank you again for joining us for this episode. Thank you again, Mike.
Thank you, Jane.
Good job.
Thank you.
And we hope to see you again soon. Thank you.